Hello everyone, Brickosaurus227 here. Welcome to episode 4 of season 1 of the Nerf Archives, the show where we take a look at all kinds of different blasters from all kinds of different time periods, all kinds of different brands, and all kinds of variety, all kinds of different ammo, everything. We look at random blasters and we analyze them. And I've done a few older blasters in the past 3 episodes, but it's time for a really newer blaster that came out 3 years. Wait, is it really new? It came out 3 years ago. Man, I am getting old. Oh no. Because today we're going to be taking a look at the Nerf Elite 2.0 Shockwave. Ew, I know, yeah, oh. Alright, just calm down. I'm going to talk about it, so, yeah. Now, it's really interesting to call this the Shockwave because one thing they didn't do with this blaster, one thing this blaster didn't do is send a shockwave through the hobby. It left no impact on the hobby. So, why am I talking about the Nerf Shockwave? Well, I think it's one of the most misunderstood Elite 2.0 blasters for a couple reasons. But let's get into the quick history of it. The Elite 2.0 series released back in 2020, 3 years ago, and it was pretty much a fail. There was a couple good things. The commander was good and the turbine was good, but that's about it. Everything else didn't really work as well. But this blaster kind of got lost because of a different blaster called the Villainator, which is an amazing blaster and definitely is much better than this. But it does have some things going for it. This blaster, it doesn't have any variants, but it is a successor to the Nerf Elite Surgefire that came out back in 2018. And it improved a few things while ruining several others. For instance, the Surgefire is Slamfire. This blaster does not have Slamfire. Now, the things it did improve were increasing the ammo capacity, adding stock and barrel attachment, and making the whole stability of the blaster a little bit better. It retailed for, I believe, $35, which is a little on the expensive side, but still justifiable enough for what you get. 20 rounds is pretty good. Overall, the blaster is really comfortable, it has a good grip and all that good stuff. The inclusion of stock attachment point is definitely a good idea because it makes it a lot more comfortable. But what really surprised me about this blaster is the performance is pretty decent. It actually performs pretty well, and it performs consistently. It has a very crisp prime. I'm not going to do that joke again. And it has a just overall good form factor. It's not a big blaster. And of course, the Villainator exceeded this in every way. But what can this blaster offer us today in the hobby? Well, quite a bit, more than you would think. It's a great casual play blaster. You can't modify it or use it for any pro games, but it's a great casual blaster for all intents and purposes. It has ranges for about 50 feet, which is not too bad. It works actually pretty well. And very consistent too, and pretty accurate if you use the right darts. I've never had any jams or malfunctions with this, despite other Elite 2.0 blasters I've had problems with. Overall, it's a pretty solid entry, not as bad as people say it is. To operate the blaster, it's actually pretty simple and straightforward as pretty much every other Nerf blaster. Just take your darts and load them into the drum, pull the pump, and fire. But it feeds pretty well, it works pretty well, and it's overall a good blaster for casual play. Now, there is a big con in, the fact that it can be taken apart. Now, this is, of course, not a review. This is the archives, and I'm just giving you some basic opinions and stating facts of the blaster. So, like I said, what does it have to offer us in the hobby? Not much except for casual play, and if it's in close quarters, this is a very good blaster for people to use. The Villainator, one problem I have with it is that the prime is pretty stiff. Even though it is smooth, it still can be a little hard for someone younger to use. This is a good blaster for someone younger to use because it's a very soft and light prime. It uses a gear ratcheting system, which I personally like. Overall, I give this a decent score. It has its pros, it has its cons, but overall, an okay blaster. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
My junk drawer, my junk drawer. So many things I don't know what they're for, but I won't let it go. I will add more useless little things to my junk drawer.